Hey everyone, right down here in the corner. Today I am talking to you about a certain AI tool. I always tell you, hey, don't get distracted by the shiny toy syndrome. Always focus on the problems and focus on the friction in your agency. So, one of the problems or frictions for us on our flood insurance side is look, we got all these different videos, we gotta go and write these blogs. It takes time, right? How do I potentially take these videos and turn them into a blog, or at least start that process? And today I'm showing you exactly how to do this with a tool that we've been using now for about 6 months to a year. Look, I want you to understand that this is not a copy and paste. This is just part of the process. And so what I do here is I'm going to search my YouTube channel, and we're building a content hub or a pillar on the National Flood Insurance Program. So I'm going to go search my channel for National Flood. And so this video right here, which is kind of a guide for homeowners. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to copy the link. And then I'm going to go right here. I'm going to copy this into, So before I click the blog though, I want to show you, hey, featured image. I want the video embedded. I want internal links going to our website. I'm trying to change this here. Let's add an internal website here. And I use this for a lot of our marketing clients on the insurance side as well as we kind of start the process. All right. So what it's doing is it's verifying my website right now, and it's scanning it for links and all these different things. And of course, we'll go ahead and hit continue anyway, because it controls so many different links and so many pages because we run so much on this website because our learning center's on there, everything's on there. So as it's scanning it, it's taking a few more minutes than normal because it's got so much information on there. But with all these blogs, internal linking is something important. Think of it like breadcrumbs, customer journey. We want to make sure that things are linking correctly. Customers taking the next steps. Are they going to the next video, like on your YouTube channel? Are they going to the next blog or downloading it? Whatever it is, we want to make sure they're following that process as we create content the correct way for the insurance agency using AI tools like this. And so as this goes to populate here, we're going to go ahead and basically have this thing, majority of it done, where you could put it into a WordPress site if you want. If you have HubSpot like we do, you could almost copy it and put it in there, but we're going to send it through a few different AI tools first. And we're just waiting for this website scan to get done. As you can see, it's taking a lot longer than we expected. But as it goes through this, remember, you want to know, hey, what tools and what frictions and problems is our agency having that we need help solving? That's a conversation I always have with an agency before we start working with them to help them implement AI. We want to understand that we can get the buy-in from the team. We want to understand what their struggles and their frustrations are so we can help remove those. That's always my goal with AI. Because remember, automation, whatever. When you implement automation into a bad process, all you're doing is magnifying the bad process. So you've got to be careful here about how you implement AI, automation, all these things. Because if you don't have the right frameworks, you don't have the right process, it can make things way worse for you. And that's why automation and AI may not be the right fit for your agency right now. You may want to work on improving those processes like we've been doing for the last 3 years, building out SOPs and all these different things. So just keep that in mind as you go through and you look at these different tools and you see these different things that I either share in our private community or here on the YouTube channel. Just as I said, keep that in mind. And we should have this updated in hopefully just a second for you so that we can go ahead and proceed with this. But remember, this is not a copy and paste. This is probably 10 to 20% of the process we send it through. I'm not going to send it through your whole process today. I really just want you to see kind of what we're doing with this tool, how we're using this tool inside the agency, and how potentially a tool like this might be able to benefit your agency. Maybe you don't have time to write blogs, but you got time to shoot those videos. What I tell our team is, look, as long as I got a video, there's really nothing else I can't do because I can take the transcription from that video. I can create subject matter expert information. I can create blogs. I can create ebooks. I can create guides, all that different stuff simply off a video from a client or simply off a video from me. All right, so it's been successfully scanned. So now you see, we've got this in here and all those different things. You could put SEO right here. So for SEO, let's put the primary key phrase is national. All right, so we got all that in there. Let's go and create this blog now. Now, look, you could take this blog post as well, put it into a Chatbot like the Endless Customer Chatbot and ask it to help you build a pillar page or a content hub as well. That may not be a bad idea. Using a tool like Lovable AI that kind of helps visualize it for you may be a good tool there. But you can see how good this blog's actually looking. Now, as I said, it's still calculating, it's still writing it. Now, I will tell you this, like I said, this is just a starting point. So one of the things you're going to see that this blog is missing, and I tell our team all the time, is like each one of our articles, see, there's the video. So it makes things really good. You can see how it's linked to probably different things, like this right here. I'm using Grammarly, the AI Grammarly, to go in and just adjust some of these things. But one of the big things that does not have at the end that each one of our articles typically has is an FAQ section. I want an FAQ section down below, final thoughts and all this different stuff. So I would go in and add a FAQ section here, but it's helped a lot with it. So I could, export this. In fact, I'm probably going to export this real quick to our Chatbot, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do with it. Let's see, unless customers. Sometimes I have to search it over here. Doesn't always show up for me. So let's do this. Let's go on the previous because I use this thing a lot. Let's go to new chat here. All right, now let's go back over to this blog here. We go to export, and we're going to do it as a Word document. It's going to give you kind of like a celebration when it's done exporting it. But the article is not just enough for me and my team. Yeah, I need a brief. I need a linking strategy and all these different things. So let me go over to Chatbot now and see if it'll put this in here. No. So let me go back over here real quick. See if I put it in a Word doc here. Nope. Let's see what it did to it. It's creating a Word doc. Oh, there we go. So now we go over here to Chatbot. Let me go right here and upload this. And now let's see what this comes back with. It's going to give us probably some improvements, some suggestions, and all these different things. But you can see how quick I've been able to go through this process. And we're going to do it in probably less than 10 minutes. And especially, your goal should be having 3 of these out for your website each month still. It should be having 2 long form videos on your YouTube channel each week. And when we say long form, we're typically talking anything more than 5 minutes. That's how you're going to show up in AI search. That's how you're going to show up when your customers are searching for answers. So as you can see the content brief here, the target keyword, secondary keywords, and all this. What the search intent is. Information, which tells me they're at the top of the funnel. This means that I don't necessarily want my sales team spending time on this, but instead I want to work the customer's way through the process from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel, providing the right content. The big 5, the problems and all this that it solves. And as it goes through and it gives me the check marks and all this, it said this is what we call a pillar page or content hub. It means your main piece. And then we're going to have all these different supporting pieces that go to it. And that's why I wanted to give me, 5 suggestions for CTAs at the end. I want to have this conversation with the AI, and I want to go back and forth with it, just like it's one of my team members. And it's taken a little bit to write it, but as you can see, it's giving me examples of the body of what I need to improve, like the header, how I need to fix it, all these different bullet points from an SEO standpoint. The title exceeds the 70 characters, the suggested improvement title, and all these different things. And it's just taking a few minutes, and then we got a conclusion. But I've built it where it has X's and checks to really make it easy for my team as they're talking to this and they're using it. And as it goes through all this, now look, when it goes through the next time when I ask for these improvements, it's probably going to be a lot quicker. But you can see the internal links. This tells me with an internal link, I need a dedicated page for this. I need a dedicated page for this. I need a dedicated page for this. And by a dedicated page, I may mean a blog, private blog on these things, depending on what part of the funnel they're in. If they're in what's called commercial intent, I'm usually having a dedicated website page. If it's not commercial, transactional intent, then I'm using blogs for the most part. And then you see the video recommendations, and where typically I'm putting 2 to 3 videos into a blog. It's giving me image suggestions, what the alternate text should be for the image. So when I put this in, AI should help generate the image pretty easily because it's got the alternate text here that it's going off. And you see how the AI is really helping me with this and guiding me through this. And you can imagine what kind of time this would take on my part on my own, and how we're using these different AI tools to do all this stuff. And you see the final summary of the key fixes. Look, I may not agree with all these. I may not make all these changes. And just like with one of your team members, it's going back and forth and coming to an agreement together. Now, as it goes through this, let's see if it does it any quicker for us. Now look, too, when you're using this in as customers, I'm not getting any kind of benefit like this. I'm not getting any kind of kickback. When you're using this video to blog.ai, I'm not getting kind of kickback. These are just tools that we're using every day inside of our insurance agency. We're using it every day to help insurance agents grow their business across the country. And so I like to show you, hey, here's actually what I'm doing every day. Here's how I'm applying it, because I want you to be able to go and apply it immediately. So here's the idea on the CTAs. is it's coming up with these different 5 for me, the proof. And I like 5. You could do 3. You could do 10. But I always want my team to come back with a 5 and say, hey, I don't like 3 of these. Come up with 3 more. And my team's having a conversation with it, sometimes 30 minutes to an hour as it goes through this. And now we're waiting on this right here as it's kind of working on this content. And it's trying to decide. Oh, look at that. We hit a network error. So let's try. That does happen from time to time. You'll notice that with AI, if you use it as much as we do, sometimes you will hit these errors. Sometimes you may have to copy and paste this right here again. I want to know, is it, should be a downloadable asset? Should be an action like getting a quote? Should be a primary CTA or secondary? Is kind of what I'm asking you. And then what I could do is I could send these CTAs to my team and say, all right, we need to create updated CTAs in HubSpot on the actual image that they click on. We also need to download guides. And we take them to a URL, collect their email address and their name, and then send them to these things. And now I could go to my team and say, all right, here are 5 different guides that we could use. Now we've created what these are called are lead generators for your website. And so now you're starting to see simply from writing that blog on video2blog.ai. And as I'm going through with ChatGPT and I'm having this conversation, look, you could do this with Gemini 2.5 Pro. It doesn't have to be ChatGPT. You could do it with probably Manus.lm. Careful with Manus, because if you have a free version, you'll run out of credits pretty quick on doing something like this. That's why I like ChatGPT on this. You could use ChatGPT Operator if you're paying for that. So now you see what it's telling me is now, what the different things are. Now, what I could do is basically put all this together. I could actually send it to my team, and I could put this into a huge Google Doc, and then I put it in the ClickUp for my team to produce that blog. And I could give them the choice. Hey, what CTA do we want to use here? Do we want to test 2 different CTAs? We can absolutely do that with the power of HubSpot. Do we want to test 2 different next steps? Absolutely. But whenever you're testing, whether it's HubSpot, whatever, whenever you're A/B test, remember, A/B test one thing at a time, whether it be a title, an image, whatever. So you truly understand what it is that you're testing. So I just wanted to show you kind of what this looked like. And so now what I'm having it do is just give me the content brief, the internal, external linking strategy, and the rewritten full article. It follows They Ask You Answer, and it follows Story Brand and our Trust and Grow framework. So I just wanted to do this quick video kind of showing you how to do this. Right here, it's going to make it really easy for your team and understand what audience you're going here. And look, when you're creating this, you could go over to the insurance agent audience builder that we built, put your audience in there, dump that file in here, and get even more detailed with it. In fact, I'm going to do that real quick for you, just so you can see, and then we're going to go back. So let's see. Now, this is the audience builder that I built with about 22,000 pieces of data as I worked on my master's at Wake Forest. And then I went and used it for insurance. And you see how detailed this is on this audience now and how I'm using this. And you can kind of see now where the messaging in this article now is going to resonate differently as it goes into, emotional drivers, all these different things that maybe this type, whoever it is I'm wanting to go after on this piece of article is helping. And I've got it built into 10 different segments for you that helps you. And the messaging, the tone, all these things. And then we're going to copy and paste this in just a second and use that as a target audience. And you even see in the customer journey map, what they're considering. And that can help us create content around that. What their friction points are. And you see what happens is you start to read your customer's mind on the customer journey and the content. And your team's able to use this through the sales process, the renewal process. And the customer knows it's a no-brainer to work with you through authority, the information you're providing, like nobody else is providing that as detailed as you're going with this. So as we go through this, what I call the North Star strategic summary in here. Now let's just copy this thing right here. And let's go back over to and now you can kind of see how the brief is being changed a little bit. Who the target persona is. You know exactly who you're speaking to. If you decide to do another video on this, that's what you should also be thinking about in your videos is how am I speaking to them in my education videos on my insurance channel or on my learning center? Am I speaking like a one-to-one conversation? Am I speaking to 1,000 different people? Because look, remember, when we speak to everybody, we speak to no one. And now we see all the different linking strategies here that we've done, the updated full article, different things. I hate emojis. I just don't like them using in my content. And so that's one thing I always have them remove. And now I've just basically created a content pillar page. Now this particular one is going to be a blog page. It could be a website page, depending on what the search intent is. You can use things like SEMrush, Ahrefs. We use Search Atlas a lot to understand what that search looks like. And now when we create this, and we have all this right here, we have the linking strategy. So where the linking tells us, hey, we need to have pieces of content on this. Well, it's just like a YouTube video. So let's say you have this main video right here on your page. Then throughout the video, you would link back to these different videos. So what happens is you're now treating your YouTube channel like your website, like you should be. You potentially could also link back to other things with, here like FEMA and all these different things. You can link the videos and that in your channel as well as you take them off. When you have these downloadable assets like the CTAs, you could put that into the description of the channel so they can download that and get in your email list. So you can kind of maybe get them off YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is, whatever that rented platform is, you can get them into your ecosystem. So this is exactly how we are using AI to build this process. If you want further information on it, let me know. If you want to understand different videos of how we're doing this, what process we're doing, look, I'm an open book. I'm here to help you. I hope that everybody has found this video valuable. Look, if you're on the YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe.